In this picture we have two graphs. We have a blue graph and a red graph, and there is a translation that has happened. The translation means that the graph has simply been shifted. It hasn't been deformed or stretched in any way, it's just been shifted. We're starting with the pre-image, which is in blue, and we're ending up with the image, which is in red. Oops. Let's try and make that work there. And it says here not to use any kind of equation, just to verbally describe what we see. Very soon in the course we're going to be actually using numbers to describe these transformations, but for now we're starting simple and we're just describing these things with words. Okay, so I'm going to use black as sort of generic color here. We mentioned in a previous example the idea of key points. And sometimes there aren't very many. Obviously a significant point on this parabola would be the vertex, and we would have the same key point or the corresponding key point on the red graph. And what we could see happening is we're going from the blue graph to the red graph, and that's how the translation could be described. I want to mention this here because it's going to be really important throughout the course of the year. I said that this was just a translation, which means it's just been shifted. And here's how you could tell that, because it certainly looks like the red graph is bigger, sort of visually looking at it. But it's a little bit hard to compare because it's had more of a chance to spread out. The blue graph is also spreading out. We just don't see as much of it. So here's something that you're going to be doing a lot. You start from a key point, and you can force the graph to have another key point just by finding another nice lattice point or grid point that you can use. So if I start from here, I see that if I go across one and up one, that takes me to another lattice point on the graph. And if I start from the key point on the red graph and go across one and up one, I also get a nice point on the graph. So we can see that we have the same relationship over one, up one, over one, up one, which means the graphs have not been stretched at all, it's just been translated. Okay, now after all of that preamble, the question is really, really simple. I am going from here, from my pre-image to my image, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units down. And this is all I'm looking for at this point, not any kind of an equation, not any sort of mathematical representation. We're saying we're going 5 units down and 1, 2, 3, 4 units left. So note here, the reason that this is a translation is because we haven't done any stretching, no compressing, nothing like that. It's just a shift, 5 units down and 4 units to the left.